across your feet, spreading the toes as you shift your weight forward and allowing the heels to take the weight as you shift it back. Just do a few of those. Just getting a feel for where your weight's been lying all day. And then coming to a position where you feel your weight is equally distributed across the front and back of the feet. And then from here, we'll just breathe in and bringing the shoulders up to the ears. And then as you exhale, taking the shoulders back, sliding the shoulder blades down the back. We'll take a few of these and try and start to match your inhale with your exhale. So maybe counting to 3 or 4 in your head as you inhale and same as you exhale. And then see if you can breathe in and out through the nose, if it feels comfortable enough. Let's take one more like this. And then just as a reminder to bring your breath as a 360 breath. So hands on the outer edges of the rib cage. And then as you take a breath in, you really want to feel like your ribs are expanding into the hands. So mainly the sides, but also the front and back. And then as you exhale, drawing the belly button back towards the spine as your ribs come closer together. Take a couple more like these. Let's try and keep the shoulders from lifting, and again. And keeping the breath, relaxing the hands, we're going to soften the knees, and we'll just take a few pelvic tilts. So as you inhale, you're going to tilt the pelvis back, feeling your lower back arch, and then as you exhale, keeping the knees over the ankles, drawing the belly button back towards the spine, curling the pelvis under. We'll take a few more of these. So inhale back, exhale forwards. And then we'll just add some arms to this. So just bringing the arms up to shoulder height, and then as you've got the pelvis tilted back, you're going to slide the elbows back, and then slide the shoulder blades down your back so your elbows end up dipping down towards the floor. And then as you exhale, you're going to bring your arms forwards, wrapping around a big imaginary ball, relaxing the head, pushing out in between the shoulder blades, dropping the shoulders. And again, inhale back, and exhale forwards. And inhale back, and exhale forwards. Take 2 more, inhale back, and exhale forwards. 1 more, inhale back. And exhale forwards, and we'll just interlace the fingers here, drawing them away from you, relaxing the head and taking a couple of breaths in between the shoulders. So you can see if with each breath you can find more space in your back. And then we're going to keep the arms in this position. We're just going to straighten the spine, bring the head up, softening the knees a little bit more, so you're almost in a little high squat. And then we're going to imagine we're taking this ball from side to side. So we're going to breathe in. And as we exhale, we're going to take the ball to the right without twisting the knees, without twisting the hips. So taking it to the right. And inhale to center, exhale, taking it to the left. Inhale to center, exhale, twisting it to the right. Inhale to center, exhale, twisting it to the left. Try and make sure your glutes are switched on and the rotation comes from your rib cage. So it's the thoracic spine. And then inhale to center, exhale, twisting to the right. Inhale to center, exhale, twisting to the left. 1 more time on each side. And then back to center, interlacing the fingers again, drawing them away from you. And then allowing the fingertips to lead the way forwards into a forward fold, keeping the weight forward in the feet. And then at the bottom of the forward fold, holding on to opposite elbows and gently rocking from side to side. And you can shake the head or nod it, just to loosen up the neck. And then releasing the elbows, keeping the weight in the front of the feet. We're going to soften the knees, taking a breath in. And as we exhale, we're going to roll it back up, 1 vertebra at a time, rolling the shoulders back at the top. And then, given you've got bands, we'll just grab hold of them and wrap them over the tops of the knees. I've got one with a knot in. And I am going to double it and step into it. There we go. So it doesn't have to be doubled up, it's just depends on the length of the band, tension, etc. Yeah, and then once we're there, we're going to inhale, arms up. And as we exhale, we're going to sit back into a squat, reaching back with the glutes. So exhale, reaching back with the glutes, feeling your spine lengthen without feeling your back really arch. So you've got your neutral spine position and your rib cage is tucked in. And then as we inhale, we're going to squeeze the glutes, press down with the hands. So and straighten the legs. And again, exhale, sitting back. And inhale up. And exhale, sitting back. And inhale up. And exhale, sitting back. And inhale up. Exhale, sitting back and holding it here. We're going to hold the squat. Keep drawing the lower abdomen back towards the spine, squeezing the glutes up into the shoulders, and breathing. And then holding the squat, we're going to just take the knees slightly out, so pressing out into the band, and then back of the ankles, back to center. So out into the band, and then back over the knees, and pressing out into the band, really squeezing the glutes. And then bringing the knees back with the ankles, and again pressing out and over the ankles, and again out and over the ankles, and pressing out, and in two more, pressing out and back in, and then pressing out and back in, and then allowing the fingertips to lead you forward in a forward fold. Just hanging here for a moment, taking a breath in. And as you exhale with knees soft, scooping the belly button in and up, rolling it back up. One vertebra at a time. Rolling the shoulders back at the top. And then let's do a couple of monster walks before we head back down. So starting at one end of your mat, feet sitting bone distance apart, we'll just start with the steps. So we're just going to step out to the point where you feel almost maximum resistance in the band, and then coming back to your starting position, and again stepping out and in and out and in and out and in and out and in, and then here we'll go up on the tiptoes, lowering down, stepping out, tiptoes, lower, feet together, tiptoes, lower, 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 stepping out, tiptoes, lower, feet together, and then we'll do the same with toes turned out. So really getting the glutes to do lots of work here. So you're going to squeeze the glutes, come up onto your tiptoes, lowering the heels down, taking a step out. And again, squeezing those glutes, coming up onto the tiptoes, lowering down, heels together, tiptoes, lowering down, stepping out, tiptoes, really pressing the big toes into the mat as much as the rest of the toes, lowering down, heels together, tiptoes, lowering down, stepping out, tiptoes, lowering down, heels together, tiptoes, lowering down, stepping out, tiptoes, lowering down, heels together, one last time, tiptoes, lowering down, stepping out, tiptoes, lowering down, heels together, bringing the toes in, and then you should be at the end of your mat, one end of the mat, and we're going to roll it down from here, so keeping the band on for now, taking a breath in, and then exhale, dropping the crown of the head towards the floor and rolling it down, lengthening the spine as you roll down towards the floor, and then at the bottom of the roll down, we're going to soften the knees. We're just going to come down onto all fours. And on all fours, pressing the tops of the feet into the mat, we'll do a couple of cat stretches. So taking a breath in, and as you exhale, using your stomach muscles to tilt your pelvis under, and then relaxing the head, pushing out in between the shoulder blades. And then inhale to a neutral spine. Let's do this again, breathing in. Exhale, tucking the pelvis under, dropping the head, really drawing that belly button towards the ceiling. Coming back to your neutral spine, tucking the toes under, sliding the shoulder blades down your back. So you want a nice open shoulders. We're going to press the fingers into the mat and lift out the wrists, lift out the shoulders so you feel as light as possible. We're going to breathe in, and as you exhale, hovering the knees off the mat, just a couple of inches, really pulling that belly button up towards the ceiling. And breathing. One more breath. And then resting the knees down. Let's do this again. Breathing in. Exhale, hovering the knees off the mat. And then we'll use the band here. So we're going to do what we did as a squat. So we're going to inhale as we press the knees out into the band. Exhale as we bring them back under the hips. Inhale out, exhale in. Inhale out, exhale in. Inhale out, exhale in. Inhale out, exhale in. 2 more. Inhale out, exhale in. Last one. Inhale out, exhale in. Dropping the knees. Sitting back on your heels for a moment. Straightening the arms in front of you, but sliding the shoulder blades down the back. And then keeping the hands where they are, we're just going to shift our weight forward and send the hips up. So you're in a downward dog with knees really, really bent, relaxing the head, pressing the hands into the mat, sliding the shoulder blades down the back, and then we'll just walk it out. So dropping one heel and then the other. And I know you'll be pushing into the band, but that should give you an extra stretch actually. And then as lightly as possible, you're going to walk your hands back towards your feet, as if you're just springing off the mat. Back to your forward fold, softening the knees here, breathing in. Exhale, rolling it back up. One vertebra at a time. Just take my t-shirt off, it's getting a bit warm. And then we'll roll it back down, breathing in. Exhale, dropping the head down, keeping the weight in the front of the feet as we roll down. And then at the bottom of the roll down, knees soft, we're going to walk all the way forward into a full plank and then adjust it here. So if your wrists can't take this, just come down to your forearms. Just squeezing the glutes, drawing your heels towards the back of the room and the crown of the head towards the front. Sliding the shoulder blades down the back and breathing. And then keeping the hips exactly as they are, we're going to do 5 knee drops. So we're basically just the only thing that's hinging is from the hips, the knees are dropping down to tap the floor, and then squeezing the glutes to straighten the legs. So inhale, lower tap, exhale, squeezing the glutes to straighten the legs. And 3, and 4, and 5, and then hinging the hips back up into your downward dog. You can keep the knees super bent. The key thing is to really keep lengthening that back. And then as lightly as possible again, we're going to step the hands back towards the feet. Back to your forward fold, knees soft, breathing in. Exhale, rolling it up. One vertebra at a time. Rolling the shoulders back. I'm just going to come to the other end of my mat because I'll have more room for the next plank version. So taking a breath in here. Exhale, dropping the head, rolling it back down. Scooping the belly button in and up as you roll down. Softening the knees, we're going to step it forwards again, and then you'll adjust your plank as you need to. Making sure the glutes are super strong and that there is no dishing in between your shoulder blades. This time we're going to lift the right leg up, and then once it's lifted, we're going to pulse out and in 8 times. So we're going to take the leg out to the side and then in. And 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8. Bringing the foot in, other side. Lifting the left leg up, taking it out to the side and then bringing it back in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Toes in, dropping the knees down towards the mat, on the mat even, and sitting back on your heels. And you can take the hands wider than your shoulders. That might feel quite nice, or you can even wrap your hands around your heels. Staying here for a couple of breaths. And then walking the hands back towards your knees. We're just going to keep the hands where they are, tucking the toes under, and we're just going to send our bum back, as if you're just trying to sit back down on the floor in this position. So you're like in a little ball, and then you're reaching forward with the hands. And we're just basically trying to get a bit of a stretch in our calf and shin, and relaxing the head. And here, see if you can redirect the breath to your back. It should feel really nice. So no belly breathing. We'll take 3 breaths here. So really feel that rib cage expand and that back open with each inhale. And then walking the hands slightly closer to your feet. We're just going to shoot the hips up. So we end up back in our forward fold. Softening the knees, breathing in. And then exhale, rolling it back up. One vertebra at a time. Rolling the shoulders back at the top. And then just stepping out of the band. Popping it to the side. And then from here, we are going to roll back down. So taking a few steps actually, or in fact, I'm just going to turn around. So you want to roll back down, but really then you just want room behind you on the mat. So taking a breath in, and then exhale, dropping the head, rolling it back down. Your legs should feel really nice and light and free now. And then at the bottom of the roll down, we're just going to come to a seated position. With your feet in front of you, knees up, and then rolling up nice and tall on your sitting bones. And then rolling the shoulders back. We'll start doing a few pelvic tilts. So taking a breath in here, and then as you exhale, really making sure you're pressing your big toes into the mat. We're going to curl the pelvis under, rolling it back. About a third of the way down towards the floor, making sure you're really pressing the belly button down towards the mat, and then inhale up. And again, exhale, rolling it back, and inhale up. And exhale, rolling it back, and inhale up. And now we're just going to add a variation. So we're going to start with, we're actually going to hinge without the pelvic tilt. So as if we were just trying to open a bit like a book, like this. And then when we've got to as far as we can get to, keeping the contraction in the stomach, we'll add the pelvic tilt. So basically starting sitting up really nice and tall. And as we inhale, we're just going to turn the sternum up towards the ceiling. So we're just trying to lengthen the spine and open up. And then as we exhale, we're going to keep the spine this open, keep the chest nice and open. And we're just, as we exhale, we're going to curl it under and roll a bit further. And then inhale, coming back up. And again, taking a breath out, taking a breath in. Inhale, opening the chest up towards the ceiling. Exhale, curling it under, rolling back. And then inhale up. Breathing out. Inhale, open the chest up towards the ceiling. Exhale, curling it under, rolling back. And then inhale up. Exhale. We're just going to add some arms. So we're going to start with the arms up at shoulder height. So as we inhale, basically the arms become a bit of a hinge. So as we inhale, the arms end up pivoting slightly up towards the ceiling. Exhale, we're going to curl it under. And here we're going to inhale, bringing the arms at shoulder height, in line with the ears even. And then as we exhale, we're going to roll it all the way back up. And then bringing the arms back down at shoulder height. So inhale, using the arms as a little dial or hinge, opening the sternum up towards the ceiling. Exhale, curling it under. And then inhale, bringing the arms alongside the ears. And then exhale, sitting back up. Bringing the arms back down to shoulder height. Let's do this one more time. Inhale, opening the chest, dialing the arms up towards the ceiling. Exhale, curling it under. Inhale, bringing the arms alongside the ears. And exhale, rolling back up. And then just flopping over your thighs for a little rest in a seated child's pose. And then we're going to sit back up and we're going to curl down all the way down. So either with legs straight or knees bent. If your legs are straight, flexing the ankles helps just to keep them super strong. And we'll start with arms at shoulder height. We'll breathe in here. And then as you exhale, curling it under, one vertebra at a time. Really trying to get the lower back, then middle back, and upper back down on the floor. And keeping the stomach strong and ribs drawn in as you bring your arms overhead. And then inhale, fingertips towards the ceiling. Exhale, we're going to curl it back up. One vertebra at a time. Coming back to a seated position. And then here we'll do 3 pulses forward. So we're going to pulse 1, 2, 3. Let's do this 3 more times. So inhale, sitting up really nice and tall. Exhale, curling it under. One vertebra at a time. As the arms come overhead, the ribs stay drawn in. Then inhale, fingertips towards the ceiling. Exhale, curling it back up. And then 3 pulses forward. So pulsing 1, 2, 3. 2 more. Inhale, sitting up really nice and tall. Exhale, curling it under. One vertebra at a time. arms overhead. Inhale, fingertips towards the ceiling. Exhale, rolling it back up. Taking a breath in here, exhale, pulse, 3, 2, 1. Last one, inhale, sitting up really nice and tall. Exhale, rolling it all the way down. And as the arms come overhead, just relaxing into a full body stretch. So if you haven't got a plant at the base of your hands, just really stretching out. Flexing your ankles, pointing your toes. And then from here, we are going to, in fact, we're going to stay on our backs, bringing the knees up, and finding your neutral spine position. So hip bones and pubic bones should feel like they're on the same plane, relaxing the shoulders into the mat, and just trying to keep your neck nice and long, so ever so slightly tucking the chin in. And we'll just start, so your feet are sitting bone distance apart. We'll just start by windmilling the legs from side to side, just to get a bit more flow in the spine. So this is quite loose and not muscles are quite relaxed. And then we're just gonna bring in a bit more engagement now. So next time your knees are up, we'll do the same exercise, but we're going to control it with our obliques. So both shoulders stay on the mat. You're going to breathe in, and then as you exhale, allow the knees to go down as far as they will, without the shoulders or the back lifting from the mat. And that will be done through your stomach muscles. Inhale up, exhale, allowing the knees to twist over to the left. And inhale up. So do this on your tiptoes, you get a bit more range. Exhale, twisting over to the right. And then inhale up, exhale, twisting the knees to the left. And then inhale up, we're going to bring the knees up to a tabletop position. And you can have your arms out as into a cross. I'm just going to shimmy down so I've got more room. And we'll do the same here. So same principle, keeping the knees really stacked so you don't want one knee to slide off the other one as you're twisting. So breathing in, and then as you exhale, twisting over to the right. Without the shoulder blades lifting off the mat. Inhale, center, exhale, twisting over to the left. Making sure that as you go to the left, the right knee doesn't slide off the left one. Inhale, center, exhale, twisting to the right. And inhale, center, exhale, twisting to the left. Inhale, center, exhale, twisting to the right. And inhale, center, exhale, twisting to the left. You can make it harder by doing this with straight legs. It's up to you. We'll do 3 more on both sides. So with straight legs, you might not be going as far. You can give it a go, and then if it's too much, just come back to your bent knees. I'll do 1 more on each side. And last set. And then bringing the legs up. If your legs are straight, keeping them straight. If your legs were bent, you can keep a little bend in the knees. And then keeping your neutral spine position and keep driving that belly button down towards the floor. This time you can have your arms straight alongside your body, and you can gently press your forearms into the mat. We're going to do some Criss Crosses. So keeping the legs, having the legs super straight helps. Really engaging the glutes. We're just going to crisscross the legs as we go down. And just go as far as you can without losing your neutral spine position. So you could end up skimming the floor, or you could be higher. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you kind of get what you need out of the exercise. So inhale as you crisscross the legs up, and exhale all the way as you crisscross them down. Inhale up, and exhale down. And inhale up, and exhale down. Last one, inhale up, and exhale down. And inhale up, and then knees to chest. Bringing them really nice and close and gently rocking from side to side. And then we're going to straighten the legs and roll onto our right side. So right arm under your right ear. And then when you hit, if you've got a shoulder injury, you can always pop your head on a block and have your arm at a 90-degree angle in front of you, or if this is just not particularly comfortable. So just making sure you feel like your ribs are sinking into the mat, that your waist is strong and switched on, and then top hip, you want to almost push it away from you. So you want the same distance between your right shoulder and your right hip to your left shoulder and your left hip. And we'll start with our leg lift. So we're going to breathe in. As we exhale, we're going to lift the left leg up to hip height and inhale lower. Exhale, lift, really drawing the belly button back towards the spine. Inhale lower. And exhale, lift, inhale lower. Exhale, lift, inhale lower. And exhale, lift, inhale lower. And exhale, lift, inhale lower. Exhale, lift, inhale lower. Try to make sure that the right shoulder doesn't creep up. If this feels really comfortable, you can straighten your arm up towards the ceiling. Exhale, lift, inhale lower. Exhale, lift, inhale lower. Exhale, lift, inhale lower. Exhale, lift. We're going to stay lifted and we're going to do 10 pulses up with the legs. So we're going to pulse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And relaxing, maybe giving your hip flexors or glutes a little well done rub. And then starting with your left hand in front of you, just for light support. You don't want to be relying on it for dear life. But we're going to breathe in. As we exhale, we're going to lift the right leg up to hip height. And then we're going to take another breath in. And as we exhale, we're going to bring the left leg up to meet it. And then lowering it on the inhale, exhale, lift. And lowering it on the inhale, exhale, lift. I might have just got my right and left wrong, but you want your top leg at hip height and then the bottom leg coming to meet it, tapping up and then lowering down. And tapping up and lowering down. Tapping up and lowering down. So you're just doing, the top leg stays up as a constant and it's the bottom one that moves up and down. That's it, yeah. And up and down. And up and down. And up and down. 2 more. Up and down, really squeezing the inner thighs and the glutes as you do this. And last one, both legs are up, and this time we're going to go down and up with both legs. So we're going to lower the, and you can have your left hand in front of you alongside your body or straight up towards the ceiling. So we're going to lower 1 and up, and lower again and up. Really squeezing the glutes and inner thighs and lowering and up. And then inhale as you lower, exhale up. Inhale, low, exhale up. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And relaxing everything, bringing the knees towards your chest, giving your glutes and your hip flexors a well done rub, thumb. And then we're just going to roll onto our stomachs. So rolling onto your stomach, I'm just going to check the time. We're good. So on your stomach, first of all, we're just going to start by, let's do our back, in fact. So you're going to just pop your hands under your shoulders, sliding the shoulder blades down the back and bringing the elbows towards each other. So that's your starting position. You're going to start by pressing your pubic bone into the mat and have the feeling that you're lifting your belly button off the floor. And we're going to breathe in here. As we exhale, we're going to slide the shoulder blades down the back and curl the head and shoulders up, just as if you're trying to just look over the edge of the mat. And as you do that, keep drawing those elbows towards each other. And then inhale, lower, placing the head back down. Again, exhale, sliding the shoulder blades down the mat, really pressing the pubic bone into the mat. Your glutes shouldn't be overworking here, it's an upper back exercise. And then exhale, curling the head and shoulders up. Inhale down. Let's do this 3 more times. Exhale, sliding the shoulder blades down the back as you curl the head and shoulders up. And here just have the sensation that you're trying to bring the chest past the shoulders. So we're really trying to lengthen, find some length in the upper body. And inhale down. And again, exhale, curling it up. Inhale down. Last one, exhale, curling it up. And then if it feels okay on the back, you're going to bring your elbows under the shoulders. So you end up in a Sphinx position. Or Cobra. Sliding the shoulder blades even more down the back. And really pressing your hands into the mat. Just imagine you're trying to drag your hands back towards you as you just keep bringing that chest forward. Finding as much space as possible, but keep really switching those stomach muscles on and pressing the pubic bone into the floor. And then we're just going to relax back into the mat and popping your hands under your forehead. And then you're going to keep the knees hip distance apart, but bringing the feet, so we're going to bend the knees, bringing the feet together so that the knees are at a 90-degree angle, but the heels are going to touch. And we're going to take a breath in. As we exhale, really again keeping that that core engagement, that belly button lifting from the floor and pressing the pubic bone into the mat. We're going to squeeze the glutes and lift the legs up, really pressing the heels together. And then inhale lower, making sure the shoulders don't switch on. Exhale, lifting the thighs off the floor, pressing the heels together. Inhale lower. And exhale, lift. And inhale lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale lower. And exhale, lift. Inhale lower. Two more. Exhale, lift. Inhale lower. Last one. Exhale, lift. We're going to stay lifted. We're going to pulse the legs towards, well, the tops of the feet towards the ceiling 10 times. So we're going to pulse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then relaxing the legs onto the floor. And you can kind of roll onto your front of your hips. Just giving them a little wiggle. And then keeping the right hand under the forehead, we're just going to reach back for the left ankle, bringing the knees together. We're just going into a quad stretch basically. So bending that left knee, keeping the knees together, pressing the hips into the mat, and just stretching out the quads. And if you want a bit more, you can press the top of your left foot into your left hand. And we'll do the same on the other side. So left hand goes under your forehead, reaching back for your right foot, knees together, and then maybe even pressing the top of your right foot into your hand. And then letting go of that foot, we're going to place the right hand back under your forehead. We're going to reach up for the left foot. And this time, we're going to actually, so the right hand, so you want the right forearm to be parallel to the top of your mat. So we're basically going to bear down into that arm. So we're going to breathe in here, and as we exhale, we're going to slide the shoulder blades down the back, curl the head and shoulders up, and see if you can lift your left knee off the floor. And then inhale lower. Let's do this 3 more times. So exhale, lift, pressing the top of the foot into your hand, inhale lower. And exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. And exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Let's do the same on the other side. So left forearm on the floor, nice and strong, reaching back for your right foot. And then really pressing that forearm into the floor. We're going to breathe in. And as we exhale, we're going to lift everything. Inhale, lower, keeping the stomach strong. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower, really curling the head and chest up. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower, last one. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. And now relaxing the forehead into the mat, we're going to reach back for both feet. We're going to try and keep the knees in line with the hips. Sliding the shoulder blades down the back and really rolling the shoulders back. We're going to breathe in. And as we exhale, we're going to lift our head and chest and the thighs off the floor if we can, pressing the feet into the mat. So breathing in. And exhale, lifting everything. And inhale, lower. Exhale, lifting everything, really squeezing the glutes, pressing the pubic bones into the mat. Inhale, lower. Last one, exhale, lifting everything. Inhale, lower. And then just relaxing into the mat. Maybe rolling gently from side to side. And then last exercise, this is what I'm leading us to. So we're going to bring the hands back into our cobra position. And from here, keeping the legs super straight. So we're going to really squeeze those glutes and try and keep the legs as engaged as possible. As we inhale, we're going to push into the hands and see if you can get a little bit more of a lift in the front of your cobra. And then as we exhale, we're going to let go. And we're going to gain momentum to lift the legs up. So inhale, lift, exhale, let go, and lift the body up a bit more. Inhale, lift, exhale, let it go and lift the body up. Let's do 3 more. And then once you're up, just bringing your hips back down towards your heels and sitting back in child's pose for a few breaths here. Redirecting the breath to your lower back. And bringing your spine up. And we're going to lie onto our left side for the left side kick series. So either with your left arm straight under your head or head on a cushion and arm perpendicular to you. Legs are straight, ankles are stacked, hips are stacked, top hip is pushed away. And stomach is strong, top shoulder is relaxed. And starting with your hands, either your top hand in front of you by your side, and then we can always lift it up so the fingers are pointing towards the ceiling. So we'll do 8 leg lifts. So breathing in, exhale, lift your leg up to hip height, switching on the glutes, inhale, lower. And exhale, lift, and as you lift, think about lengthening as if you're just trying to tap the opposite end of your room. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. I think we've got 4 more left. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Maybe bringing the arm up. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. We're going to keep that leg lifted. And then we're going to bring the bottom leg up to meet it. So breathing in. And then exhale, lift up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, tap up, inhale, lower. Exhale, tap up, inhale, lower. Really squeezing the glutes on that lifting leg. And lower. And lift and lower. And lift and lower. 3 more. Lift and lower. 2 more. Lift and lower. Last one. Lift, lower, and actually coming back up. And then we're going to lower and lift both legs. So keeping them as strong and long as possible. So lowering one and then lifting it. Inhale as you lower, exhale as you lift. Inhale, lower, exhale, lift. Inhale, lower, exhale, lift. 4 more. Inhale, lower, exhale, lift. Inhale, lower, exhale, lift. Inhale, lower, exhale, lift. And last one, inhale, lower, exhale, lift. And just bringing the bottom leg down, keeping the top leg up. I forgot to do the leg beats up. So we're going to keep the right leg up and we're going to beat it up 10 times. So pulse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then bringing your knees towards your chest, giving your hip flexors and glutes a well done tap or thump or whatever they need. And then let's just prop ourselves up. So coming up to seated position. And we are going to start with our fingertips facing towards us. So rolling forwards on your sitting bones, and actually before doing anything you just want to roll the shoulders forwards, up and back. So your shoulders are as open as possible, which makes this exercise a lot easier. Generally people get stuck in the shoulders. So starting with your knees bent, and then you might just need to play about with how far your feet are from your bum. So we're going to breathe in, and as we exhale, we're going to squeeze the glutes, sending the knees over the hips, keeping the gaze towards your knees. And here, just make sure you bring the chest up as well. And then inhale, ever so slightly dropping the glutes down, and then exhale, squeezing them to come back up. Inhale, lowering down, and exhale, coming back up. Inhale, lowering down, exhale, coming back up. Inhale, lowering down, exhale, coming back up. On the next one, we're going to stay up. Inhale, lowering down, exhale, coming back up. Yeah. And then we'll add some knee lifts. We'll just do 4 on each side. You can join in or not. I'll do them because I'm filming for Charlotte. So I'm going to do 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 6, 7, and 8, and then hips down, flopping forwards, and then let's do some, we'll just do some tricep dips, and then if you have your band close, we'll roll onto our backs and do some stretches. In fact, you'll need a band and a pillow for your head, pillow or block. Pillow might be better because I think your blocks are quite high. So I'm just going to move my mat in so I've got a bit more room. So back to the same starting position here, rolling the shoulders back. We'll just go into our tricep dips before we go down onto the floor. So you want to make sure your lower back doesn't slump. And we're going to inhale as we lower down, drawing the elbows towards each other, and then exhale, squeezing your arms to come back up. Inhale, lower, exhale up. Inhale, lower, exhale up, and inhale, lower, exhale up. Inhale, lower, exhale up, inhale, lower, exhale up. Let's do 2 more. Inhale, lower, exhale up, and last one. Inhale, lower, exhale up, and then just giving your arms a shake. And let's just roll down to lie onto our backs. I'll just grab a block for myself in place of a cushion. So rolling onto your backs, grabbing hold of your band, and you can keep it if you've left a loop in it, that's totally fine. We'll start with some hamstring stretches. So popping your foot through the loop and straightening your right leg. Your left knee can stay bent, or you can straighten it down onto the floor. And then just using the band to get the stretch to the right level of intensity that you need it to be. Really flexing that ankle on the straight leg. And you can also flex the toes so you get maximum stretch here. And just breathing. And then taking the band in your right hand, your left hand can be just on your left hip bone. You're just going to take your right leg over to the right side. Bringing the leg up and crossing it over your body to the left. And you can pin your right hip down with your right hand. It's a bit harder, but just try and keep those hips as much into the floor as possible. It'll just increase the stretch. And you can play about with the height of that stretch. Benji, I think this one, once when we've done it, that was more useful with the band just around your thigh with your knee bent. So see what you think. And then bringing your... Yeah? Is that where it's supposed to be getting? Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think it would probably flex around the foot. Cool. I think when we were doing it, it wasn't quite working. Maybe you were just feeling a bit different. Maybe. I definitely feel fitter in my body than I have done. Oh, brilliant. Well, that's good then. Let's... That's good. So switching legs, either keeping the right knee bent or right leg straight, and then left leg is straight, directed up towards the ceiling, ankle flexed. And just breathing. And then pinning your right hip down with your right hand as you take the left leg out to the side. Keeping that left foot really flexed. And bringing the leg up. And then bringing it across the body. Maybe just trying to pin the left hip down with the left hand. Bringing your leg up, taking it out of the band, and just rolling onto one side. And you're just going to pop your head on a block here. With your arms clasped together in a crocodile clasp. And you want, so if you're on your left side, you want your right knee to be slightly overshooting the left one. And if you're on the right side, the other way. So your top knee should be slightly overshooting the bottom one. That will just increase your stretch. So from here, you're just going to take your top arm over to the other side of the body. So just taking it over and then following it with your gaze if it feels like on your neck, or you can always just flick up towards your ceiling. And we'll just take a few breaths here, breathing into the ribcage, breathing into that open side. And with each exhale, allowing gravity to do its work, that arm should float closer and closer towards the floor. You want to keep the stomach switched on still, just to protect your back. So keep drawing the belly button towards the spine with each exhale. And then bringing that arm back towards the back into your crocodile clasp, and then we'll do the same on the other side. So rolling onto your other side. Placing one knee slightly over the other, and then opening your arm out. Here for one more breath. And then bringing your top arm back on top of the other one. And then we're just going to almost keep that rotation going until we end up back on all fours. And on all fours, we'll do a couple of cat and cow stretches here. So inhale as you tilt your sit bone towards the ceiling, looking ahead. Exhale, reversing the stretch. Maybe you want to turn it into a more fluid version of cat and cow, circling the spine one way and the other. And then just carrying on with a tiny bit more twisting. As we inhale, we're going to reach the right hand up towards the ceiling, and then exhale, we're going to scoop it under the left armpit, and we're just going to stay here, squaring the hips off as much as possible. And you can also lightly press the top of your right hand and the palm of your left hand into the mat, just to increase the twist a bit more. And then coming out of the stretch on this side, we'll do it the same on the other side. So inhale as you reach your left hand up towards the ceiling. Exhale as you scoop it under the right. And then, if you want a bit more, just pressing the right hand and the top of your left hand into the floor. coming back to all fours. Walking your hands forwards a touch, tucking the toes under and coming up into a downward dog. When knees really bent, pressing your fingers into the mat, sliding the shoulder blades down the back and redirecting your sitting bones towards the floor, relaxing the head, and then we'll just walk it out, dropping one heel and then the other. You can get the hips involved, so make it as wiggly as you need to. And then as light as possible, we'll just step the feet back towards the hands. Coming back to a little forward fold, holding onto opposite elbows and just gently rocking from side to side. And then we'll release our elbows here, taking a breath in. And as you exhale, we're just going to roll it back up. One vertebra at a time. Bringing the head up last. And then we'll just finish with a trapezius stretch. So taking the right ear to the right shoulder, stretching the left arm out, and wrapping your right hand over the left ear as you slide the left shoulder blade down the back. Then taking the hand to the back of the head, tilting it so you're looking down towards your right hip bone. Bringing the head up, giving it a little wiggle. And then left ear to left shoulder, stretching the right arm out, wrapping the left hand over the right ear as you slide the right shoulder blade down your back.